Thank you. We're going to start with the AGM. I don't like long AGMs, as you will know, so it's going to be a short AGM. And I'm going to start by asking Dave Palmer, who is our Secretary, and David Brooks, our Treasurer, to join me up here on the stage. Now, non-members are welcome to stay. You don't have to rush out the door, but please only vote if you are a member. Right, so I declare the 46th AGM of the Hampshire Ornithological Society open. We have a number of apologies for absence. I'm just going to read out a few. Alan Cox, Sue Lambert, Andy Mitchellmore, Keith Wills, Nick Windybank, Peter Strangeman and Corinne Bespolka. Does anybody else wish to offer apologies on behalf of somebody else? No, good, thank you. So the minutes of the 45th AGM, which was held last year in this room on the 6th of April, they've been sent to everybody already. We've not been notified of any corrections, so I'm going to invite a proposer and a seconder straight away to accept the minutes as an accurate record of the meeting. And if you would shout out your name, because although I've got good eyesight, it's not as good as it was. Could I have a proposer, please? Carol Rawlings, I can see, and a seconder. Martin Pitt, thank you very much indeed. Just a show of hands, all in favour? Any against? Thank you. Right, so any matters arising from the minutes. So the first one I want to mention is our bank account. Now, Chris encouraged us to seek a more ethical bank, and a good point was made, and it was backed up by people in the room who felt the same way. The trustees agreed, and it's not actually as easy as you think. Triodos, who we wanted to go to, who are the obvious choice, they don't accept charities. We pushed them a bit, but they pushed back, so we've settled with the Co-op Bank, who have not exactly made it easy either, but having said that, the transfer is almost complete, and within the next day or two, that will be completed. So, Chris, thank you for raising that, and I think we've made the right call on that. Were there any other issues mentioned last year that anyone wishes to talk about? There will, of course, be other opportunities to ask questions. I don't see any hands. Excellent. You also like short AGMs. Right. So in that case, I'm going to talk about this year, or last year. Hos is big, as you can see from this room, but it's getting bigger, and we had 119 new members last year. Now, that's slightly under the 144 that we got in 2023, but I do still think there was a big impact, you know, of the pandemic getting people interested, and most of them have now joined. But if you're not a member, you can obviously get that number up next year. The key thing for me, though, is that since 2020, in every year, more people have joined than have left. So the net increase last year was 27. Let's try and increase that again next year. Now, you are our greatest ambassadors. And you may remember last year we created these cards. They've got a fire crest on them now instead of the shoveler. When you're chatting to people and you're out birding and you find out they're not a member of Hos, obviously bring that up first before asking if they've seen anything. When they say, no, we're not a member of Hos, then basically give them one of these cards and persuade them to join. There's a pile of them out by the reception. Please take a handful with you for when you meet people and you're out birding. And thankful for all your help in doing that. This is an absolute hero of mine, and I know Chris feels the same way. John Buckley, here he is with some of our young members, showing them small mammals. We did about 20 walks and special events last year for our young members, including bat watching, small mammals, reptiles, brilliant. And John was just an absolute star. And, you know, we are a bird organisation, but there's more than birds to look at. Now, these are exclusive to our young members. I know, I'm saying that now because I know there's a few people already thinking, I'd like to play with a mouse. If you just adopt one of our young members and come along with them. I also want to mention once again that we really want to thank the Cameron Bespolka Trust, who were instrumental in helping us to get this started. So if you know of a young person from Hampshire at school or university who's interested in birds, then let us know. And similarly, I'm pleased to say that the interest in our WhatsApp group for female birders has continued to grow. We now have about 120 in our WhatsApp group. They call themselves the Ladybirders, and it allows female members to build birding friendships. And they have a stand in the exhibition, so go up and say hello. Also say hello to Alicia Hayden. Now, Alicia, who's quite close to where those ladies are, she's in the exhibition. She's an award-winning wildlife artist, and she's displaying her art project called A Girl and Birds. This was a thought-provoking exhibition she put on with the BTO, and it really shines a light onto the challenges for women and girls who want to study birds. So do go and have a look at that. And we have many other things in the exhibition: charities, travel companies, artists, and much more. A big thank you to all of you who surveyed woodlarks last year. We actually found more than had ever been found in the New Forest. And I won't steal Nigel Matthews' talk. He's going to be talking about that after the AGM. But this work is citizen science at its very best. So this year, we're going to ask you to get busy again. You might get a bit more wet, but this is the latest survey from Forestry England we've been asked to do to study breeding waders in the New Forest. Now, in fact, all the squares, I think, have already been bought up, as it were, for this survey. But people do drop out. So go to the Hos Scientific Committee stand and put your name down so you can drop in where somebody else drops out. The BTO also, incidentally, needs your help this year. They've got a huge heathland project, and we're lending lots of support to them. So find George Barthow on the BTO stand and talk to him about that. Kingfisher, what a wonderful magazine this is. Now, the money you pay to be a member of Hos just about covers the cost of providing you with newsletters, bird report, and a huge event like this. Next week, the cost of postage goes up again, the 6th increase in 3 years. And you can imagine this adds greatly to our costs. So I want to thank you, because last year, most of you agreed to accept Kingfisher as a digital download. And that saves trees, it saves us money, and it means we don't have to increase the price of membership for a few more years yet. And most organisations now do online newsletters. So the bird report, which we love. We know from informal conversations that some of you, and it's only a few, would like to have that as a digital bird report rather than the hard copy, but most people like the hard copy. So we're going to send you an email in the next week or so, which will give you the opportunity to choose to go digital if you wish. So if you get that and you don't want digital, that's fine. You don't have to apply. But if you do want a digital bird report in future instead of the hard copy, just let us know. Now, on top of what you pay us for membership, we've been successful at raising money. We've bid for 7 contracts now and won all of them. These are major contracts and have brought in about £70,000 over the last 7 years. And that money has increased our reserves to around about £120,000, which is a lot. It's too much, frankly, for an organisation of our size. And we aim to reduce that by regularly supporting good research and conservation. And maybe one day, when the opportunity comes up, we'll be able to put in a decent amount of money to help buy a nature reserve. We've actually helped Hampshire Wildlife Trust this last year. This monstrosity on the left-hand side is actually not a spaceship. It's actually a swift tower, but includes house martin boxes too. So that's gone up at Blashford Lakes, and we gave £4,100 so that that could happen. So let's hope that's successful. Also, sand martins. We've just paid for a new sand martin wall at Testwood Lakes, £5,100, and that's going to be created at the end of this summer's breeding season. In the winter, we get jack snipe, many more than we realise, of course, and we've supported Sparsholt College with £5,772 for them to study these birds with trackers so that when they leave us and go and breed, and then they come back, we can find out not only where they bred, but also where else they go locally near to where they were found. And the amazing thing is the new device we've got access to downloads the data from the bird without the bird even being touched. It just has to come within 100 metres of our device. So that'll be fascinating. We won't be doing that until next winter, though. And audio monitoring. This is a new area of science where you put up a box on a wall or on a tree, you record the sounds for maybe 10 days, and then using artificial intelligence, you can get that analysed. So if we're looking for things like lesser-spotted woodpeckers, willow tits, hawfinches, particularly in some of the woods away from the New Forest, we know the New Forest has got lots of these birds, then that will find them. And we've also given the BTO just £4,705 to pay for actually analysing the data, not just for us, but for anybody in the UK who is doing the same. So Hos is not just helping in Hampshire. We're trying to go beyond that because we have the ability to do it. Now, we do need helpers because these boxes have to be put up. We've got 3 of them, and we have to be put up in woods where we know there have been willow tits in the past, but there aren't anymore. We want to try and locate them. If you think you could be prepared to be a driver, to go up, possibly up a ladder, I'm not sure, but certainly putting it up on a tree, then talk to Ken and Linda Smith on the Hos Scientific Committee stand in the exhibition. So Hos is busy, very busy. Bird surveys, conservation work, outings, sales items, the Young Member Programme, the Ladybirder Group, Kingfisher Magazine, the Bird Report, people who collect the money, people who spend the money. There are over 50 people that make Hos work. Most of them are in the room. Give them some applause. Thank you. And of course, if you're interested in being a volunteer, come and see me. We always need more volunteers because people come and go. So, does anybody have any questions or comments they'd like to make on anything which I've just reported on? No? Excellent. Right, so now we're going to move on to the accounts. Now, David Brooks has... Oh, sorry, I didn't see that.
I'd like to commend everyone involved in the bird report, both on its quality and its promptness of issuing. It's outstanding compared with all the other bird reports in the country, particularly in terms of the timing. So well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. I don't think Mike Chalmers is in the room, but I'll make sure that he knows that. It's very much appreciated. Oh, we've got another question. Oh, there is Mike Chalmers, sorry. Mike Chalmers, stand up. Mike has been doing the bird report for how many years now? You had your arm twisted as well, didn't you, at a meeting recently? Yeah, and he's about to hand over next year. That'll be an announcement we'll make next year, but a brilliant job done. And yeah, when I used to live in London, we used to look at the Hampshire Bird Report and think, that's the way it should be. I remember. Right, obviously I do need more glasses, better glasses. Any other questions? Anybody up there, first of all? Good look. And anybody down here? Nobody. Great. So, as I was going to say, we've got David Brooks, our treasurer here. I've agreed with him. I'll present the numbers for him, but he'll respond to any questions, so I get the easy bit. So first of all, I know you love figures. Here's the total figures. Probably a bit on the small side, so I'll zoom in and show you a bit more detail. So here are the receipts, the money coming in. So first of all, you'll notice total coming in, 45,876, and expenditure 49,319. So a deficit of 3,443. As you know, we're trying to reduce our reserves. Membership subscription receipts actually decreased, even though we got more members. That's simply because some of the people who paid their subs for 2024 paid them at the end of 2023, and they didn't do that again in 2024, so we ended up having just a case of timing. Donations include, from last year's AGM, 1,385, partly from the bid for an expert activity, which we did, and thank you to everyone who bid for those experts, and thank you to the experts, because it was a great way of raising some money. You can do it again today. And also, we auctioned off some Audubon prints. We also received a £1,000 legacy. Interest from bank deposits increased because we had more money held in deposit. Surveys and data sales, that represents £3,200 from Hampshire County Council, who pay us because they use our data when looking at planning applications, and they also sell on that data to other people, consultancies, for example. The Woodlark survey, although we did that last year, actually we only received the money in January, so that yet has still to come in. So that means next year we'll look even wealthier. Members' Day receipts, 1,299 from the raffle. I wonder if we can beat that today. Who knows? £300 from exhibitors, £75 from non-member entrance fees. So that's the income. Looking at the stuff we've been spending money on, you've heard all about the grants and donations. 21,581. That's the Sand Martins, the House Martins, the Swifts and Snipe and so on. The increase in the Hampshire Bird Report costs compared to prior year is due to increased postal charges. Now, we don't pay any money in the way of fees or remuneration to trustees or committee members, but trustees are able to get reimbursed for their mileage when attending HOS meetings or representing the society. Equipment, we bought, as I mentioned, 3 song meters, and they'll be used over the next few years, so they've got a long lifespan, I hope. The funds, well, we have our funds in a 1-year bond with Charity Bank, and also a 100-day notice deposit account with Charity Bank, and currently instant access deposit account with Lloyds, and a Lloyds Bank current account. As you know, that's about to change. Trustees are very conscious that we have more money than we'd like to have. I think a charity of this size should have enough just for maybe 1 year, assuming nobody paid their subs, we could all still keep going for a year. So we do seriously want to try and reduce that, and we're all the time looking for opportunities where we can spend it. But we're not going to frizzle it away, we're just going to spend it when the right opportunity comes. We particularly want to thank Joy Orbin, who is our independent examiner, also a HOS member and a chartered accountant, who examined the accounts at no costs. So I would like to ask anybody got any questions on any of those figures. I can zoom backwards and forwards with the numbers if necessary. Any hands for any questions on the money? I don't see anything. Great. Easy. Thank you. In that case, I'll ask you to I'll ask for a proposer and a seconder for the account. So could I have, glasses on again, could I have a proposer, please? Thank you. Di Warner, and a seconder, please. Yeah, Ken Smith, thank you. And I'll ask you to raise your hands. All in favour? Any against? Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. Now, election of president. Our president serves a period of 5 years at a time, and as I mentioned, Chris Packham has now completed 25 years. In accordance with Rule 3A, 111, the Management Committee proposes Chris Packham to serve a further 5 years as president. So as this has been proposed by the Management Committee, all I need to do is ask for a seconder. So could I have a seconder, please? Let's see, any hands going up? Janice Beck. Oh, we weren't going to get a seconder there. Touch and go. Right. It's funny how the accounts are more interesting than getting the new president. Anyway. So again, a show of hands. Please take part this time. All in favour? Anyone against? No, nobody against. Chris, I'm very pleased to say you've been re-elected for another 5 years. So we're just going to go through the rest of the Management Committee. Now, I've been chair for 8 years. Our rules normally say you should be in the chair for 5 years max, but we allow someone to be in the chair for a maximum of 10 years if nobody obvious is lurking nearby. So in the absence of any known willing volunteers, I've agreed with the trustees that I will stay on for at least another year as chair, and I'm happy to do that. But I would like to stand down no later than 2027. Now, if anyone's interested, it's a great job. I enjoy every single day I do this, and I can highly recommend it, and you've got a great team supporting you. So anyway, for the rest of the team, here are our proposals for this year. There's not much change, but let me just first of all give our thanks to Helen Schneider, who stands down after 3 years, and we thank her for her knowledge, particularly of the New Forest. We have 2 new elected members who are joining us this year for a 3-year term, and I think they're both in the room. So, Helen Wood, are you, where are you? Are you in the top? I can't see anything. There's Helen Wood, and I see Claire Melville. Please stand up, Claire. They're both joining us as trustees. They're both highly active in the society, and they not just bring grassroots information about what the members are thinking, but also a number of key skills too. Now, Janice Beck, Janice, would you just pop up as well? Janice Beck was co-opted this last year for a year. She'd been a previous trustee, but you have a 3-year term and you have to stand down. And we co-opted Janice because she is our safeguarding officer and also does all the organisation of the young members. So we're putting Janice forward for another 3 years. Not everyone who helps us is a trustee. Now, some simply volunteer, and I want to particularly mention Nicola Whitmarsh, who has run our hugely successful sales operation since 2022. Nicola will stand down at some time between now and the AGM. She wants to go travelling, and she will be succeeded by Cathy Emmett, who's helping her today. So thank you so much, Nicola. And Cathy is going to be helped by Barry Page, who's taking on helping out with the books that people so kindly donate. We've had about 3 people give us their entire libraries in the last year. So if you are actually downsizing your library, then do think of Hos. We can use your books to raise more money. And thank you to those who have already. Alan Cox is not here today. Alan's been our data manager since 2019. And he's going to stand down in a few weeks, and he's going to be replaced by Chris Dennis. In his time in the job, Alan must have examined somewhere between 2 and 3 million records. I find it astonishing how he does it. He's not here today, but let's give him some applause. So you have the lineup there. The key thing is ordinary members remaining Tommy Saunders, Di Warner and Roger Dickey. Newly elected members Janice Beck, Helen Wood and Claire Melville. And so what I would ask is for a proposer and seconder for both of those, for all of those. So can I have a proposer, please, for our trustees? Yeah, thank you. Annette McCall, thank you very much, Annette. And a seconder? Yep. Peter Little, thank you very much indeed. And again, a show of hands, all in favour? Any against? Great, thank you very much indeed. So that is the close of the formal business of the AGM, but we do have just any other business. If anybody else would like to raise any issue which they think would be of interest, now's your opportunity. I see a hand going up.
I just want to actually add to Chris Packham's mentioning earlier on of JSO closing down, but not really closing down. On the 26th of April, a non-arrestable event is going to take part in London. And I think you could really clearly show that you are supporting our care for nature. If you would like to join, I think it's really important. So please come and join to show that we care very, very much for nature, and we want to do the best we can. And together we can do it. We can take that out to other people as well, pass it on, it would be marvellous.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other points on Hos matters? Okay. If I can't see any hands, shout if you have. Okay, no other points. Thank you very much. I can let our Treasurer and Secretary be excused.